Hi. Welcome to Lily's Story channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. Now the story begins. In a bid to upset his old flame Madeline Gonzalez, who had just returned to the country, Easton James proposed to me in a nearly mocking manner in front of everyone. He whispered in my ear, his voice dripping with disdain and contempt. "Audrey Hars, considering how long you've been pining after me, I could marry you, but you need to understand your place. You'll never measure up to Madeline." I responded by slapping him across the face. "Get lost." Then, turning to his arch-rival Nicholas Reyes, I said, "Marry me, I'm great at taking care of people." "Audrey, marry me." At a business party, Easton, dressed in a black suit, knelt on one knee with a bouquet of red roses, proposing to me with a serious expression. The crowd cheered and applauded continuously. I looked around and spotted Easton's true love, Madeline. In the crowd, Madeline stood there, biting her lip hard, tears welling up in her eyes. At that moment, I realized I had transmigrated into a book, specifically the melodramatic romance novel I finished reading last night. Seeing that I hadn't responded for a long time, Easton leaned in and whispered in my ear, "Audrey, considering how long you've pined for me, I'll agree to marry you, but you need to know your place." To the onlookers, it seemed like he had kissed my cheek. The crowd kept urging, "Say yes." In the original story, I did agree to marry him. After our marriage, he ignored my existence and brought Madeline into our home, forcing me to listen to their intimate moments. He even got Madeline pregnant right in front of me. Madeline flaunted her superiority and bullied me openly. Worst of all, he orchestrated the downfall of my father's company because my father had slapped Madeline to defend me. After the company went bankrupt, I had no choice but to beg Madeline for forgiveness and mercy. Looking at this hypocrite now made me sick. I slapped him hard across the face. "Get lost." Then, under everyone's shocked gaze, I walked toward a young man exuding an icy aura in the corner. He was Nicholas, Easton's greatest rival in the original story, who was eventually framed and killed by Easton and Madeline. Given this chance, I would never follow the original protagonist's tragic path, no more being a substitute or enduring twisted love stories. To hell with it, this time I would live for myself. I walked up to Nicholas and hugged him tightly. "Will you marry me? I'm great at taking care of people." My eyes sparkled with laughter, forming beautiful crescent moons. Nicholas was stunned by my audacity. A blush crept up his ears as he stood there frozen. Looking at Nicholas's reaction, I thought, despite his cold and heartless persona, he's clearly inexperienced in love. Rumor had it that Nicholas disliked women and never had any around him. The crowd was dumbfounded. The banquet hall fell silent. Someone finally spoke up. "Has Audrey gone mad? Wasn't she head over heels for Easton? How dare she slap him?" Easton's sharp gaze was fixed on me, and his face darkened. "How dare she? Nicholas is known for being cold and ruthless. Just wait, she'll be thrown out." Hearing this made me a bit scared, but what was done was done. There was no turning back now. Nicholas took a moment to react. It was his first time encountering such a bold woman, who had just rejected his arch-enemy Easton. Interesting, he decided to play along. Nicholas's clear voice sounded in my ear, "All right." Nicholas's cooperation surprised me. Easton's gaze was icy and piercing, as if trying to bore holes into me. I felt both scared and regretful. How could I provoke such a ruthless man? I acted impulsively without considering the consequences. Thinking this, I hid behind Nicholas slightly. For now, Nicholas could still stand up to Easton somewhat. "Why are you staring at my fiancée? You're scaring her. Stop ogling her, or I'll gouge your eyes out." Nicholas's lazy yet cold voice rang out again. Sensing the tension, someone quickly stepped forward to take the edge off and ushered everyone out. Easton was a dominant figure in the business world. With a mere gesture, many business tycoons would flock to him. Today's banquet was specifically organized by Easton to propose to me and spite Madeline. In just 10 minutes, the grand banquet hall had nearly emptied out, leaving only a few scattered guests. With a cold voice, Easton said, "Audrey, I'll give you one more chance. Get over here right now, or don't ever come looking for me again." I scoffed internally, what an idiot. I am no longer the person I used to be. I won't walk down the path of suffering again. Do you think you're worthy? Everyone knows your little schemes. I rolled my eyes as I finished speaking. With Nicholas backing me up, I felt bolder. Easton, enraged, stepped forward intending to hit me. Just as he raised his hand, Nicholas intercepted him. Easton glared at Nicholas with a dark expression. What do you think you're doing? I told you, you're scaring her. Nicholas glanced to the side. She's running away. Aren't you going to chase after her? After saying that, Nicholas forcefully pushed Easton's hand away. Easton turned his head and saw Madeline's face already streaked with tears as she ran towards the entrance of the hall. Nicholas gave them one last look before turning and bending down slightly towards me. Let's get our marriage certificate. With that, he took my hand and led me out of the banquet hall. Seeing Easton's frustrated look made me incredibly happy. I hummed a tune as I followed Nicholas along the way. Nicholas chuckled softly. So happy? Of course, it was amazing, I said without thinking. Suddenly realizing what I had said, I quickly added, and you agreed to marry me. I'm really happy. Nicholas smiled slightly but said nothing more, holding my hand as we continued walking. After a short while, a black car stopped in front of us. Where to? I looked at the car, then at Nicholas holding my hand, feeling puzzled. Shouldn't we go our separate ways after the act? Didn't you say to marry you? I opened my mouth but found myself speechless. Wasn't he supposed to be the cold CEO uninterested in women? Now he actually wanted to marry me. My goodness, I didn't see it coming. He suddenly bent down, looking into my eyes, and asked, what exactly do you like about me? Are you using me? Feeling uneasy under Nicholas's gaze, I instinctively replied, how could that be? I love everything about you, honey. Nicholas seemed taken aback for a moment but then laughed again. Nicholas pulled me into the car and suddenly said, the city hall is still open, we can make it. An hour later, a marriage certificate was in my hands. 3 hours ago, I couldn't have imagined that I'd be married 3 hours later. On my first day in this story world, I married a handsome CEO. This was absolutely crazy. It's too late to regret now, Nicholas said as he took the marriage certificate from my hand. Hearing Nicholas's words, I couldn't help but shiver. Not regretting it at all. Marrying you is my life's wish. Smooth talker, Nicholas smiled helplessly. Nicholas, are we going home now? Yes. It was obvious that Nicholas's lips curled up slightly when he heard the word home, and I noticed it. My heart raced. Although Nicholas was known for indifference and aloofness, he was truly charming, so much more than Easton. After a while, the car stopped in front of a villa. Nicholas gently held my hand as we walked in, helping me register my fingerprint for the smart lock. Nicholas's parents had long ago passed away, leaving him alone in the large villa. I lay on the big bed, feeling conflicted. Nicholas and I were married, so we should sleep together. Besides, he was so handsome, I couldn't help but be attracted to him, but I was also a bit worried. What if Nicholas threw me out? After struggling with my thoughts for a while, I walked to Nicholas's room and knocked lightly on the door. The door opened quickly, and there stood Nicholas with wet hair, water droplets slowly trickling down his strands. His gaze was a bit hazy, and his incredibly handsome face looked lazy and casual. What's up? Aren't we married? We should sleep together, I said, feeling my whole body heat up, my face blushing furiously. Nicholas chuckled softly. Go to sleep. If you sleep with me tonight, you won't get any rest, he said as he patted my head. I felt like I was falling in love when he touched my head. Unwilling to give up, I wrapped my arms around his waist. I want to sleep with you. Nicholas's voice suddenly turned cold. Audrey, you don't have to go this far just to spite Easton. I'm not doing this to spite him. I really like you. I stared seriously at Nicholas. He swallowed hard, his body tensing up involuntarily. Are you sure? Once you're in my bed, there's no turning back, he asked hoarsely. I'm sure, I nodded firmly. Thinking about the original story, aside from being a bit cold, Nicholas wasn't bad at all, was actually my favorite character. Since I liked him anyway, there was no reason to hesitate. As soon as I finished speaking, I felt weightless as Nicholas carried me into the room. He whispered softly in my ear, you can't escape now. Late at night, darkness enveloped everything. The moon hung high in the sky but was veiled by a thin layer of mist, hinting at something ominous. The next morning, I rubbed my eyes as a wave of pain swept over me, reminding me of what happened last night. It was too crazy to dwell on. I sat up and saw a note. "Honey, breakfast is ready in the dining room, remember to eat." Seeing the note warmed my heart, and the original story, it never mentioned that Nicholas could cook. As I ate breakfast, I recalled the original plot. I remembered correctly. A week later, a subsidiary of the Reyes Group would launch skincare products that would cause severe skin issues. Nicholas's company would suffer significant losses from this incident and would be at a disadvantage against Easton. Since I was Nicholas's wife, I had to help him. I needed to find a way to tell him. At noon, I made lunch and took it to the Reyes Group to thank Nicholas for making breakfast. I messaged Nicholas to tell him I had arrived because the receptionist didn't believe I was his wife. Nicholas hurried down and held my hand as he told the receptionist, "She's my wife, and she should always be allowed through." His tone had a hint of pride. Nicholas didn't expect my cooking skills to be so good. He ate a lot for lunch. After he finished eating, I subtly started asking about the cosmetics issue. He seemed puzzled about why I cared about his company's affairs but accepted my explanation that I wanted to learn. He then told me some details. After listening carefully, I told him in a serious tone, "You must recheck that batch of cosmetics for safety. Easton was very upset with us yesterday. He might try something underhanded." "All right, I'll listen to you." Nicholas gazed at me lovingly. "You have to check. That's an order. Don't lie to me. I'll let you get back to work now." "I'm leaving," I said with a blush before quickly packing up the lunchbox and leaving the company. The next day, Nicholas accompanied me back to my parents' home. Miles Harris couldn't hide his smile when he saw us. We had a simple meal together. At the table, Miles said to Nicholas, "I've only got one precious daughter, Audrey, and now you've taken her away. If you ever let her down, no matter how powerful you are, I won't forgive you." Hearing Miles' words warmed my heart. In the original story, he was always so considerate of me, even standing up to Madeline. My nose tingled with emotion. Noticing my change in mood, Nicholas squeezed my hand. "Don't worry, father-in-law. I will love Audrey and only Audrey for the rest of my life. Otherwise, may I be lonely forever." After leaving the Harris family home, Nicholas whispered in my ear in the car, "Audrey, you can't escape from me in this lifetime." Elle opened a cafe purely out of passion and had been busy there these days. 2 nights later, Nicholas came home very late. As soon as he walked in, he loosened his tie, looking exhausted. I ran up to him and hugged him. "A hug will make you feel less tired." Nicholas ruffled my hair. "Wife, you were right. Easton bribed someone in a subsidiary to tamper with our cosmetics, thanks to your warning." Nicholas didn't finish his sentence. Actually, he didn't need to. I knew what could have happened. I hugged him even tighter. The days went on as usual. Nicholas' subsidiary didn't face any issues, and Easton's plan failed. Just like that, we happily spent a month together. Calculating the time, it was about when Easton would try to turn one of Nicholas' secretaries against him. That secretary leaked company secrets and turned the once unbreakable Reyes family group into a mess overnight. Easton managed to bribe the secretary because his mother was ill. The secretary's monthly salary was not enough to cover her medical expenses. This gave Easton an opportunity. He found the secretary and offered him $500,000 to save his mother. The secretary chose to save his mother over loyalty to the company. Since Easton would do this, why not help the secretary in advance and resolve this crisis? That afternoon, I brought lunch to Nicholas at the office as usual. While eating, I mentioned casually, "I heard that Secretary Jack's mother has cancer. His monthly salary probably can't cover the high medical costs. Why don't we help him out?" Nicholas smiled and said, "I'll do whatever you say." That evening, Nicholas told me after returning home, "I gave Secretary Jack $500,000 today. Told me Easton approached him yesterday to leak company secrets. Good thing my wife is kind-hearted, otherwise we would have fallen into Easton's trap." Who do you think I am? Am I awesome or what? I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Another hurdle crossed. Seeing my smug look, Nicholas' throat moved slightly. He lifted me up directly. "Wife, every moment of spring is worth its weight in gold." That night was another sleepless one. Nicholas. "Be gentle, wife, say you love me." Nicholas, I can't take it." Anna Marie, gentle. Rumor had it that Easton threw a huge fit the next day and fired several key employees. TSK, he must be furious. Believe that life with Nicholas will only get better. One day, Easton suddenly appeared in the cafe ran. He stood there quietly, staring at me. Did you really marry Nicholas? His voice was low, carrying an indescribable emotion. I looked up slightly, meeting his gaze with a faint smile. What else? Marry you? I rolled my eyes dramatically. Easton's eyes grew darker. After a moment of silence, he spoke slowly. If you're willing to divorce him, I can forgive everything you've done. I thought to myself, this Easton is really shameless. Does he have this mysterious confidence just because he's the original male lead? Sorry, Mr. James, but I don't need a dog's forgiveness. I rolled my eyes again after saying that. Easton didn't seem angry at all. He took a ring out of his pocket and looked at me with deep affection. Audrey, marry me. Think about it, we made so many vows together. They count? Audrey, come back to me, please? You might as well treat my words like nothing, I retorted without hesitation. Easton tried to step forward to grab me, but I quickly stepped back several paces. I don't get it, you clearly don't like me. The one you truly love is Madeline. So why are you still clinging to me? I asked in frustration. Honestly, I couldn't understand what this man wanted. Even if I don't love you, you can only be mine, you can only stay by my side, Easton suddenly shouted. I took 2 more steps back, genuinely frightened. Great, this male lead must be crazy, I complained inwardly again. Easton saw my reaction and smiled slyly. Audrey, you can't escape, I'll give you half a month. If you haven't divorced Nicholas by then, your family's company is done for, and Nicholas too. Easton's lips curled into a sinister smile. Just then a cool and lazy voice sounded. What do you want? Whether my wife's family company stands or not depends on me. Nicholas walked towards us in a black trench coat, exuding an imposing aura. Nicholas approached and wrapped his arm around my waist, pulling me into his embrace gently. Let's go, wife. Nicholas, do you really think you have that ability? Easton's voice turned dark again. In the middle of the night, I had a nightmare. I dreamt again that I married Easton. I was forced to witness their intimate moments, to bow and scrape before them, even to kneel and beg Madeline for forgiveness. This series of events made me feel as if I were drowning in a bottomless ocean, unable to catch my breath no matter how hard I struggled. I woke up suddenly, remembering what Easton had said. Nicholas, do you really think you have the ability? Half a month. I suddenly realized that my arrival had disrupted the normal progression of events, and it was very likely that Easton's plan had been moved up. It was me who disrupted the original rhythm, and it was very likely that Nicholas would have a car accident in half a month. Nicholas could have lived a bit longer. A chill spread through my body at this thought, and I shivered involuntarily. Nicholas looked at me with concern. What's wrong, honey? Did you have a nightmare? Don't be afraid, I'm here. Seeing Nicholas's worried expression, my eyes immediately welled up with tears. I wrapped my arms around his waist. Nicholas, I'm sorry, it's my fault for disrupting the original rhythm. Nicholas, you must be careful, check the people around you. Although what I'm saying might sound unbelievable, please trust me, once this is over, I will explain everything to you. Easton is very likely planning to kill you in half a month. Might bribe someone close to you to tamper with your usual car, you might have a car accident and then. I couldn't continue. Unknowingly, tears had already soaked my cheeks. Nicholas narrowed his eyes slightly, lost in thought. He just kept gently patting my back. Honey, don't cry, this is all voluntary on my part, even if the road ahead is full of thorns. As long as you're with me, I'll crush those thorns. After that night, Nicholas didn't seem curious at all about how I knew those things. He still did everything as usual, making breakfast for me in the morning before heading to work, having lunch with me at noon, and picking me up from work in the evening. Time passed continuously like this until half a month had gone by. Didn't know if Nicholas took my words to heart. Several times I tried to bring it up again, but he always changed the subject nonchalantly, making it impossible for me to say anything. That day, I just wanted to be with him all the time, even if it meant dying together. I accepted it. At worst, I'd wait another 18 years. After 18 years, I'd be strong again. Early in the morning, I got up and clung to Nicholas all day long. Honey, why are you so clingy today? Nicholas looked down at me with amusement in his eyes. I hung on him like a sloth. I just like being with my husband. Why, is that not allowed? I pretended to be angry. Seeing this, Nicholas chuckled softly. You can do whatever you want today, or do you not want to get out of bed? My cheeks instantly turned red like ripe apples. Don't say such things in broad daylight. Nicholas carried me downstairs while saying, silly girl, we've been together for so long, why are you still so easily embarrassed? I buried my head deeply into his chest. After breakfast, I intended to go out with him. But he wouldn't agree. Be good, honey, there's an important meeting today, it's inconvenient to take you along. No, I want to go, I pouted and acted spoiled. Nicholas seemed helpless. Silly girl, trust me, I'll come back. It was as if Nicholas saw through my thought. She knew what I was thinking. In the end, I let him go. After lunch, I sat in the living room waiting for a message from Nicholas. The last message was sent an hour ago. Honey, I finished lunch and am heading to a meeting. Suddenly, a news alert popped up on my screen. At 12:15 p.m. today, a serious car accident occurred on the Cross River Bridge, leaving 3 people seriously injured and 1 dead. At that moment, I was stunned as if struck by lightning. Could it be that the plot was unavoidable? It felt like a heavy iron hammer had smashed into my heart, making it hard to breathe. Nicholas, are you still alive? I dialed Nicholas's number over and over again, with only one thought in my mind. Nicholas, you must be alive. I trembled uncontrollably out of fear. Finally, on the 3rd call, he answered. Honey, what's wrong? I was just in a meeting with my phone on silent. Nicholas's deep and magnetic voice came through the line. The moment I heard Nicholas's voice, it felt like a powerful force hit me, and I started trembling uncontrollably. My previously tense nerves suddenly snapped, releasing all the pressure and fear at once. Tears flowed from my eyes like a broken dam. Couldn't control my emotions and choked out, Nicholas, there was an accident on the Cross River Bridge. I thought something happened to you. Sobbing uncontrollably, I said, Nicholas, I miss you so much. Every word seemed to take all my strength to push out of my throat. My heart felt like it was being tightly gripped by an invisible hand, causing unbearable pain. The fear of losing someone important made it almost impossible to breathe. My throat felt blocked by something, and tears blurred my vision so much that I couldn't hear what Nicholas was saying on the other end of the line. I just kept crying as if trying to vent all my grievances and pain through my tears. Time passed slowly. About half an hour later, Nicholas returned. He quickly walked up and held me tightly in his arms as if trying to merge me into his bones. In his warm embrace, my agitated emotions gradually calmed down. When I finally felt a bit more composed, I looked up at Nicholas with tearful eyes and softly asked, Tell me what happened? Nicholas gently brushed his fingers against my nose before starting to explain in detail how he discovered and caught the people Easton had arranged to sabotage things behind the scenes. He spoke very thoroughly, allowing me to clearly understand the whole situation. After hearing Nicholas's account, the heavy stone in my heart finally settled down. So that's how it is. My husband is so smart. I'm glad you didn't fall into Easton's trap. That's amazing. The next day, Nicholas handed all of Easton's evidence over to the police, from tampering with company cosmetics to threatening Jack and attempted murder. When the police escorted him out of James' group past Nicholas and me, Easton stopped. You're not Audrey. Who are you really? Easton stared at me as if trying to see through me. My heart skipped a beat. Oh no. I glanced at Nicholas's face secretly. Seeing no change in his expression, I felt slightly relieved. Why, everything was going smoothly until you rejected my proposal. Since then, I've been failing at every turn. Why is that? Easton asked with confusion. Because I have God's perspective. With Easton's arrest, my anxious heart finally relaxed. In the end, Easton was sentenced to death for multiple crimes, including attempted murder. Madeline and over 30 accomplices received appropriate punishments. Suddenly, it felt like something lifted off me. Felt relieved. Audrey, shouldn't you explain God's perspective? Nicholas's deep voice sounded. Do you believe me? Actually, this world is a book. The reason I can foresee the future is because I've read this book and know many things in advance. Nicholas was momentarily stunned but quickly regained his composure. Do you believe what I'm saying? I asked nervously. I believe you, actually. I had a feeling but thought you were reborn. Didn't expect it was transmigration into a book. I was truly shocked that he could guess so much, but thinking about it calmly, it's not surprising since Nicholas is incredibly intelligent. Sigh, I'm still slightly inferior. Our wedding was scheduled for early March. As for when the preparations began, Nicholas said this, from the day we met, the wedding took place as planned. My father walked me down an aisle filled with flowers. Along this path were moments of Nicholas and me together, the first meal I cooked for him, the first clothes I bought him, our 100-day anniversary, Valentine's Day. Surrounded by guests filled with joy and laughter when my father walked me out, everyone cheered just like when I first met Nicholas asking if he wanted to get married. Rose petals fell from the sky. Sunlight shone through thin clouds onto Nicholas at this moment. He shed his cold demeanor, giving off warmth instead. After completing some formalities, we toasted our guests together with Nicholas by my side. Audrey, you're really lucky meeting Nicholas, joked one guest playfully. Nicholas replied seriously, it's not her luck but mine, lucky enough she entered my world. After several rounds of drinks we returned to our room. Nicholas had drunk quite a bit, now looking somewhat silly, poking his cheek gently whispered softly, Nicholas, love you so much. Suddenly pulling wrist, drawing close, biting ear, whispered back, Audrey, can't escape this lifetime. Today's story is over. Thank you all for listening.